Hello and welcome to Game of Stools Week 6. Oh, who's joining us? It's Robbie Fox, it's KFC, it's Trent, and it's Old Man Clem, who appears to have aged 10 years since the last episode.
Bloggers age very quickly at Barstool. We all know this like presidents. A 10-year time jump was just too much. So I'm struggling right now, fellas.
This is tremendous. Each and every week, I don't know what Clem is going to bring, and each and every week, he knocks it out of the park. Unbelievable.
We had to have Trent back for the time jump. It was only too fitting. I continue to be a prisoner of the moment with this show, but that was one of the best episodes of this whole shit right here. That was unbelievable theater from front to fucking finish, man. That was a 15 out of 10 episode.
Time jumps fuck my head up. I don't know if it's because I was like predetermined to be confused by it or not like it, but like I thought we had a lot of good things going in the before 10 years. That's my only thing is like I get the time jump and now we've got all these different storylines going on, but it felt like there was good stuff going on before we jumped, and now we jumped and now we're in like a whole different fucking thing.
Dude, it was going to take a lot because I loved some of the kids. I loved young Rhaenyra was awesome. I like it for sure. Like that could have kept going on and I would be happy with that TV show. So you really got to nail it if you're going to just like take everybody's favorite characters and yank them away after 5 episodes. And I think they absolutely crushed it. I'd love a little spin-off. Give me another couple episodes to see what the kids did in the in-between. But I think we hit the time jump and we also went like 0 to 100 with every storyline and the villains and the deaths and somehow throughout it all, homeboy the king still alive.
Unbelievable.
Stunner.
Do we think? I mean, he might get another couple episodes at this rate. It's fucking crazy.
I thought he was going to die at the end when he looked at his ring. I was like, he catches the wrong glare and he might drop dead.
Yeah, no. I mean, he is hanging on harder than anybody has ever hung on here. I feel like, could we see a scenario where he lives the whole season?
Dude, I tweeted it. I tweeted that he's the Tommy Lasorda of King's Landing. He just sticks around. I can't believe he's got me convinced now that if we jump another 10 years, he's still going to be there. I just don't understand. I cannot believe he's still alive.
If we jump another 10 years, though, will he have like no limbs? Will he just be a body and a head?
Well, for my Always Sunny fans out there, it's like the episode where Frank's nosebleed just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and by the end, his face is like rotten. I mean, if he survives till episode 10, I don't even know what they're gonna do to display just how badly he's aged. It's so disgusting. I love it. I want this guy to make it as many episodes as possible now.
We're going to find out like 4 strands of head on his hair.
Yeah. Bad.
We're going to find out that he's actually Daenerys' dad, and he made it like the 200-year fucking time jump.
Yeah. Let's
the Targaryens, they got something in their blood. Yeah, let's get right into the episode because there's so much to discuss this week. Just notes-wise, this was definitely the longest episode for me. So we go into the episode with Rhaenyra giving birth. It's a boy, and the queen requests to see the child immediately. Like the second it's popped out, they're like, we're going to escort that thing to the queen for you. And she says, no, I'm going to do it myself. I'm not giving this baby up right away. So she insists on bringing it despite the pains, the afterbirth pains. A lot of gross sounds to start this episode.
Sounds, dude, the squelching noise of the baby being born. Like, we didn't need that, HBO. We didn't need that, all right? We could have just dealt with the screaming women. You don't need the sounds of a baby coming out of a vagina. Christ almighty.
Tell you what was hilarious was Laenor's reaction. This is the guy who allegedly just had a boy. This is his son, right? And he goes, it's a boy. Well done. Imagine saying that to your wife right after she gives birth. You walk into the room and you go, well done.
Thumbs up.
Good job. Rhaenyra struggles on the walk up. He's like, I don't even know if you should be doing this. And Alicent gets this big reintroduction shot when we push into her where it's like, this is Alicent, everyone. Remember her? The king has one arm. He's holding the baby with one arm right away. I would be a little skeptical if Rhaenyra like giving it to this one arm freak. Alicent, I gotta say, doesn't look too different than the actress we had in the past. Rhaenyra looks a little bit different, very similar. But Alicent, she doesn't even look that much older, to be honest.
They look. They did a great job of casting, where it's like those look like two girls who could have been, 10 years older than the last two. I love this showdown. We'll talk more about it, but these two bad bitches going head to head. I like both of them, and there's things I like and dislike about both of them. So there's no like clear cut like winner for me right now. So this is an awesome showdown.
What's the point of having a dragon if that dragon can't fly your ass to the fucking queen?
Yeah.
Instead of you hiking up, bleeding everywhere as your dickhead husband. By the way, any husband out there or anyone thinking about having a kid, don't talk to the girl that just gave birth to your son and be like, I got hit by a lance once. Like, I had a Charlie horse playing softball once. Shut the fuck up. The fact she didn't Jakara's his ass on the spot when he said that is fucking a miracle in itself.
Bro, when
there was blood trails.
When he stopped and the trail of blood was back to her, that was some of the most. We need like a gangster meter for this episode because there was a lot of gangster behavior. But it's starting out with her being like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna walk this baby up there myself." Loved that move. Loved it.
Was like a snail trail. It was gross.
Oh,
Rhaenyra's got 3 kids at this point. They're you could tell right away, not Laenor's because they all have brown hair and everyone's like, "Oh, Laenor, pat on the back. Maybe the next one will look like you, buddy." And I don't think that's ever going to happen. Sir Harwin is the father, who was the strong brother that broke up the fight last week, which is interesting. It's like, oh, everyone's fighting for Rhaenyra. Well, she likes the guy breaking things up.
Mm-hmm. Peacekeeper. And I love that I said the same thing. I'm like, they all have curly brown hair. The dad's black. And the kids are not black. No, everyone just ignored that, that side of the thing.
The dad is black with white hair. We could not be further away from the
They really made it super obvious too. Like it was so heavy-handed. It was just they all had the exact same hair as Harwin. It's like we could have made it like a little bit less obvious. We get it, but yeah, those are not Laenor's kids. They're not.
This whole episode of House of the Dragon is just one gigantic medieval Maury Povich episode.
It really was.
We're giving birth. We got multiple fathers. We've got gay and straight. We've got warring houses. We got dead bodies. I mean, this was Maury gone medieval.
And how about this? Laenor takes it upon himself to name the kid Joffrey without consulting Rhaenyra whatsoever. Kind of an Adam Levine move to name the baby after a former lover.
Yeah. So wait. This is where you got to fill me in because I can't even keep up with all the names. So Joffrey at this point is who?
The one that got his face bashed in last week.
That was okay. Yeah.
His lover. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That is a full blown Adam Levine. That's
full blown Levine.
Oh, I didn't catch that at all.
Because I'm thinking of our Joffrey from the Game of Thrones Joffrey.
Big time.
Last guy getting his face smashed in. Got it. You would think though, like if he's doing some sort of like in honor of my past lover, he wouldn't have waited till his third, but whatever. I don't know. Okay, whatever.
10 years too. Dead lover for 10 fucking years. At some point, you gotta get over the fucking.
It's been a while.
Get over it, dude. Get over it.
There's a baby dragon in training for one of the kids. Its name's Vermax. And this is a badass looking dragon for it being a baby. It kind of walks up all creepy, comes out of the shadows.
I kind of thought the opposite. That was the first dragon I didn't like.
Oh, I liked the baby dragon. Maybe because I'm a Baby Yoda guy,
Well, I thought that dragon, that whole scene, when you see these kids, these Targaryen cousins and shit, I don't like any of them. I'm gonna start to like the bastard kid because he's putting the pieces together, and I think he's gonna become likable. But right now, they're all snot-nosed assholes, particularly Aegon and those guys, right?
No.
And so I thought that whole scene was like, these are the spoiled brat kids, and this is almost like his spoiled brat dragon companion. We come here, we like you can't not feel bad for that goat. Just getting fucking barbecued, So it was like you're not even catching your own food. We're chaining up the goat, and he's all like, "Can I do it? Can I do Dracarys?" And it was like the whole scene. Usually the dragons are very like honorable and like all that shit. So that dragon, like he even looked like a little
almost like a
monster.
spider when he came
Yeah,
up
like
or something.
like a little
It did-
cockroach sort of thing, rather than a regal dragon. So that was the first time I was kind of like, fuck the dragon here.
The Dracarys thing did feel a little bit like Disney. Like you're at Disney and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's the little kid's turn to say Dracarius.
Right.
I did not like that.
That whole scene did not sit well with me. And the oldest one, Aegon, right? His face just looks like a little, like they do a good job of casting, like, which is funny because they're real life humans. You know, if I were to meet them, I'd be like, you got a real punchable face, you little prick. But they do a great job of doing it. And then
he does. He looks like a shithead. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like a Joffrey, the Game of Thrones Joffrey. And then the pig prank, which, by the way, having a pet pig would be fucking. I understand it's not a fire-breathing flying dragon, but having a pet pig's pretty fucking cool too.
The pink dread with the wings, that was kind of cute.
Oh, come on! I would have been like, yeah, fuck you guys. This is my new boy. I'm rolling with the pig.
Yeah, take the leash, walk away with it. Like I fucking love the pig.
Did you guys get any vibes with the goat? I was thinking, what do we fucking know? The one thing I know, I learned this when I was like 10 years old. Fucking T-Rex doesn't want to fucking be fed. T-Rex wants to hunt. Same with dragons, all right? So don't tie a fucking goat up and have them do it, man. It was just sad to see.
It was sad to see, but you get a little bit of sympathy for Rhaenyra's kids because Alicent's kids suck way more and obviously are bullies.
Yeah.
I mean, they bully one of their own brothers too.
That was made abundantly clear in the yard where they're practicing, where we see now, like, your boy Clem, and I mean, Kristen Cole was a guy of some people here on this panel. He is maybe the biggest motherfucker in all of Game of Thrones, man. It was Robbie. Yeah, Robbie.
It was me. Listen, I rebuke Kristen Cole.
He's a piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
He's a zero, bro. He is a fucking loser. The worst of the worst. When he dropped a cunt bomb, you're the cunt, dude. Get the
this
fuck
guy
out.
Legit called Rhaenyra a cunt in front of Alicent too, where Alicent even gave him a look like, all right, but like you can't say that. Like,
yeah, especially when it was like, dude, you were simping for her hardcore a decade ago just because she couldn't be with you because, I don't know, the Iron Throne calls and you had to be a little bitch about it. Now you switch gears, and it's instead of being the love of your life who you broke your vows for, now she's a cunt, all because she had to deny you. Get the fuck out of here. Kristen Cole, biggest loser since he might be the biggest in all the realm right now, like in both series. That guy flat out stinks.
Since old Joffrey Baratheon, right?
Robbie,
that's like basically what we're going back to right here.
I think he's worse than Joffrey Baratheon. I'm ready to call that.
You know how bad you have to be of a person to have a girl that's been beefing with another girl that used to be her best friend. You call that girl a cunt and she's taking it back. Like, whoa, bro, you went too far. Like mean girls thrive on the word cunt. That like fuels them in a fucking beef with another girl. And this girl's like, easy, Kristen Cole. You fucking wanted to suck that.
Well, the thing about, and this is what's interesting with Alicent, and you see it up until the very end of this episode. Alicent is not sure who she is yet. Alicent's not sure if she's going to be a cutthroat queen who, like, my husband's about to die and I'm going to slaughter these fucking kids so that me and my family rule the realm. Or am I still, a nice person and a good person who, once just kind of got plucked out of obscurity into this world? Because she's like, she knows the deal. Part of it is still, like, done out of honor. And part of it's still now done out of, selfishness and her own power. And then at the very end, which we'll get to, she's like, whoa, I didn't ask for that. But it's like, you kind of are on this course, babe. You better realize what's going on here.
Yeah, and that all comes after a conversation between Alicent and the king, where she kind of implies, like, hey, I'm surprised those eggs hatched at all because actually they're not Targaryens. She doesn't say that. Everyone kind of dances around it. But she says that, and he's like, don't fucking imply that in my household.
Watching the king and Alicent is a lot like watching my mom and dad. Like, my dad is just so blissfully and purposely like ignorant to like all the like the fucked up shit of the world. Like he's just like everything's fine, and I know that he knows deep down, yeah, none of those kids are his, but he's just like, I just don't want the drama. What are you talking about? Everything's fine. And my mom's like, are you a fucking idiot? Are you an absolute fucking idiot? Of course. What are you talking about? When she was like, do not. And it was like, oh my God, I hear these two do this all day long. Because King Viserys, I don't even, not giving him.
Viserys?
I just call him King. Get to the finish line. Like when they proposed the marriage, he's like, great idea. Let's just do that. And it's like, no, dude, that is never gonna fucking work. And he's like, let's just do it. Everything's fine, right? We'll be one big happy family of cousin fuckers, like all of our past behind us, all of our past family. And she's like, no, you moron. He's just so dopey.
He goes with the Family Feud answer right away. Great answer. Yes, let's do it. Put it in. Let's go. We see one of the most shocking scenes of this episode now, where Alicent walks in on Aegon jerking off out a window like he's Roman Roy. What was that?
First of all, I do got to say, Bob, you with that wig, you got a little bit of.
I look like him? What if I take the glasses off?
Going on, like,
Jesus Christ! Oh, Jesus Christ!
You have that look without the douchebag, like spoiled brat look. But I mean, if you wanted to. If you were a writer of a TV show and you wanted to smash your viewers over the head with the idea that this teenager is an absolute prick, here's how you would do it. Zero subtlety. He's like literally jerking off on the people. This was like as much of a like, here's this character's, here's what this character is made of. But that's the same window that Tommen jumps out of.
It is. It's like the exact same shot, basically.
That's like the window. So
the way they framed it, he's behind it and everything. Do you think that's like Chekhov's masturbation, where later on in the season,
like that is, like, I think that is the the window of the keep or this whatever it is. But I said the last time a load that useless went out that window, Tommen was just falling to his death.
Nice.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Really good.
That's where Royal Seed goes to die. I like that. That's where Royal Seed goes to die.
That's a good one. I like that. Could you imagine? I would imagine most guys out there maybe have a time or two that their mom or somebody walked in on them and you had to quickly put a pillow over, or, hey, Mom, I'm in here. Why didn't you knock? Could you imagine if you were standing in the windowsill, jerking off out the fucking window onto the people, and she doesn't even give a fuck? She's just like, that's how much of an asshole that kid is. She was unfazed by the fact that he was jerking off out the window. That's how
probably not the first time.
No, probably not the last.
No.
Right. Think about it though. If you jerk off out the window, like down like a million floors, you're not going to just do that once. Like that seems like once you like, what am I going to just jerk off in my bed? Like that's way less cool.
Once you've done that, you can't get you can't even get it up for anything ever again.
That's right. You do ruin yourself, but you just got to keep jerking off out the window.
Before she opened that door, she's like, all right, what is like the worst case scenario I'm walking into? Jerking off out the window was like top 3 best case scenarios. She's like, oh, just jerking off the window onto the innocent people outside. Thank God.
Do you think that actor did that for real? Like that was that
jerked off? Got hard?
Well, not that he maybe was jerking off, but just like we saw his cheeks and he was wiggling and like there was I don't even know if you do.
I don't think he jerked off for real.
That guy just had to be like, all right, action. Let me just like wiggle my cheeks and wiggle around for a little bit. Super awkward.
Remember in Girls when they tried to say that Allison Williams wasn't getting her ass eaten out? It's like we saw the guy's nose straighting her asshole.
If she wasn't getting her ass eaten out, I don't know what they were doing because his face was in between her cheeks and he was just.
Something we skipped over and forgot to mention, by the way. What did you guys think of Aegon going down into the, or it was Aemond going down into the lair and seeing that dragon?
That was that's
spooky
one
shit.
Of the big motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that. I feel like is that foreshadowing? He's got a dragon.
Is he gonna go in there and steal it one day? Like he's a crazy kid?
They kept saying like he keeps doing this. It's not the first time. I didn't realize they say later that 50% don't get an egg. So like
don't hatch. Yeah.
I guess that makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of fucking people and not that many dragons. but they make a big deal out of people who get dragons and who don't. It's actually a lot like Encanto.
I was going to say the same thing, Kev. Yes.
Yeah. Like, did you get your door? Did you get your special powers? Nope. That sucks. But yeah, I don't know what that kid's going to be yet. He scares me though.
There's going to be something with him. I don't know what it is, but there's going to be something with him. He's weird. He's a weirdo.
This is going to piss the panel off, but they made the same talk about Bran. Like, Bran, you're always just crawling around everywhere, sneaking around, and then the motherfucker got pushed out a window by the end of the episode. Aemon, something's coming back with Aemon snooping around for sure.
And he gets brought.
By the way, I know that, like, in order to when you make these real worlds, George R.R. Martin does it, like, it's how it would be. But we've got Aemond and Aegon and Laegon, and they're all the same fucking names, and I can't keep up with it. That's why I just call people King and Princess and Guy with the hair and all that. It's like they're the exact same fucking names.
And one last thing about the jerking off out the window, as it leaves my mouth, before it even leaves my mouth, I regret saying it. I'm just happy Game of Thrones is taking us there again. They don't give a fuck. Like Trent says, they make you feel uncomfortable, and I appreciate that about the show.
Well, yeah, but you know what? Let's just think real quickly, logistically, about doing that. That's one of those things in your head. You think that you're like spraying it out the window. In reality, it's just like dripping off the tip, and like it probably doesn't even reach. It probably hits the windowsill. It probably doesn't even actually go anywhere, you know? It's not even like peeing where you can get some distance. That's just like now you're standing on the windowsill with cum on your hands.
I think you got to save up for it. You got to wait a couple of days. Like
sit on a bag of peas.
You're like, oh, it's been like 3 or 4 days. I can do the window thing. I can go out there and I can jerk off out the window. You're right though, because on a normal velocity, it's not going that far.
There's some poor guy like walking through King's Landing like on a crutch, and he's just like. Oh, what was that? I don't know. Keep it moving.
Just pray bird shit on you. Like, it was a pigeon, sir. Don't worry, it was a pigeon. It's like, no, that wasn't one of the. That's probably
good luck. It means good luck in the realm when a princess comes.
I fear that we've actually dissected the episode 2 in depth at this point. But I could tell you what, the HBO one is not giving you this. So make sure you subscribe and everything on the podcast if you haven't. Now we cut to Daemon and Laena. They are now married, Daemon and Laena. They ride together. She rides Vhagar, the largest dragon in the world. This thing is fucking colossal. They're married with kids at this point, and they're offered a permanent residence in Pentos. Pentos potentially needs help against the Triarchy, who Daemon battled already at the Stepstones. And Daemon considers it. Laena has no interest. They have a conversation about it where clearly their marriage is falling apart.
Mm-hmm. I like that girl. That was the original like 12-year-old chick, right? Yeah. So she's like come a long way. She seems to be, well, I mean, it ends up being short-lived, but she was kind of like a ride or die chick. I like that couple. I'm sure we'll get into what happens with her, but yeah, you kind of see. I mean, listen, I think enough of us have seen enough spoilers to know we are on a collision course for Rhaenyra and Daemon. We know where this ends up. It's just a matter of how it ends up there. At least that's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. In the books, those two, that's where it happens. So you kind of see how everybody is, eventually gonna come to a head. But what's cool, like it's almost like when people complain about spoilers, it's like the really good shows, you can be spoiled and it's still good to see like how you get there, So this is falling apart, that's falling apart, this guy's dead, that girl's dead. Now let's see how we get there. And I don't know whether it's next episode, next season, whatever it may be.
10 seasons from now, I have no idea.
Who knows how long it'll take, but it's cool to see how, we can at least get that rolling.
One of the things I didn't like about the time jump is that we had Daemon, he had 2 wives die in 2 episodes. One died last episode and one died this episode. Like, things just happen too fast. Like,
that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, my Game of Thrones is, I know who these people are. When they die, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I didn't even know who his first wife was. She's dead. The second wife, we jumped 10 years forward. Now they got all these kids, and then she's dead by the end of the episode. That type of shit I don't like.
Yeah, well, I think you also remember, like, by the end, we're so used to the end. The last Thrones we watched was, 80 hours worth of, like, development that we, like, knew everybody. In the beginning, you gotta get to know these people, and if the very first season's gonna, jump around this much, yeah, there's no time to get connected to anybody. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's, kind of signaling, like, this is the book. This is what George R. R. Martin wrote. We got to get through some things here. But these are the major players that we got to really worry about.
Yeah, true. I guess I don't know what the trajectory of how many seasons we're going to get is. So this could all be nothing.
3 or 4. They said 3 or 4. Yeah.
So you got to think, a couple episodes is, if you have 5 episodes, that's like 1/8 of the whole series, So if you're in a couple of, these people might not matter at fucking all by the time we get down to the nitty gritty.
That's true.
And they said in the inside the episode, a lot of this is just laying the groundwork for the kids to go fight in this war. And this scene lays the groundwork for that, where Lionel and the King are watching the kids train together. Kristen Cole is training Alicent's kids and not even really paying any attention to Rhaenyra's kids. And Harwin notices this, and he's like, hey, dude, I think Princess's kids could actually use some training as well. So he goes, okay, how about the 2 firstborn spar? Obviously a mismatch. The one is much older. Aegon is much older than, I think it's Jace they were calling him. And they spar. Aegon really gets the better of him pretty quickly. Jace puts up a good fight. He has fury behind him as a little kid, but he gets taken down and Harwin has to pull Aegon off. And then Kristen Cole's like, hey, why would you do that? You're looking after this kid like he's your own kid. And then that makes Harwin snap. Beats the shit out of Kristen Cole. Kristen Cole doesn't even fight back. And kind of like a true chess player, as he gets pulled off, he's like, I thought so.
Dude, he just laid there and took those shots. Like
the Joker.
Fuck it. Yeah, I mean, that was like, fucking hook, line, and sinker. You played right into my hand. I mean, you think about that meme with the dominoes, one little joke in the fucking courtyard practicing leads to so much. He's got to leave town, and we got people dying and all sorts of shit, all because homeboy just couldn't keep his cool again after like 10 years. That's what I will say is a little bit dicey. Like, first of all, I feel like Rhaenyra aged way more than everybody else. Like, everybody else kind of, like you said, looks the same, or like the kids are still kids and the adults are still adults. The King is still alive, but Rhaenyra goes from like little teenage girl to like this full fucking woman. So that feels a little bit weird. And also it's like, I think by now 10 years, 3 sons already that don't look like you. Like, a lot of this would have already been an issue, I feel like. So I don't quite get why it comes to like this burning head now, other than that's what we need to happen for this TV show.
Rhaenyra sneaks out to see Harwin at this moment and catches his dad yelling at him. Always an awkward moment, always an awkward thing to be there for your friend's parents yelling at them, or even worse, your lover's parents yelling at them. Yikes, awkward. And he gets warned by Lionel. He's like, everyone knows there's a fucking cloud hung over our family at this point, so this is bad. Laenor stumbles in drunk, talking about war, talking about, wait, war's coming back. Can't wait to go back to sea. Talking basically like he's like a musician ready to go back on tour. Like, he's thrilled about it. And she's like, absolutely fucking not. Are you kidding me? The past 10 years that I put in, I demand you to stay here.
Also, very similar to my parents. My dad stumbling in drunk, all excited about something, and my mom being like, are you out of your fucking mind? We're not going there. So yeah, that's a lot. There's a lot of fantasy in Game of Thrones. Those couple scenes are really how marriages work, for sure.
The Mets are playing in the playoffs. We're not going anywhere in October, you fucking moron. Are you out of your mind? Dude, first of all, he's talking with Carl with a Q. The guy, I was like, oh, we have a Carl in the show. He's just like our Carl. He's a little zany. You never know what he's going to get to. And it was spelled with a Q.
If that's not the gayest shit you've ever seen.
Right.
Come on.
You're named Carl, and you're growing up, and you think you're straight, and you're Carl, and then you realize you're not, and you're like, name change, I'm now Carl with a Q. Put some fucking pizzazz on that shit, because I'm gay, baby.
And you talked about the gangster meter. I don't even know what was more gangster by a girl, Rhaenyra, when she's carrying the baby up as she's just leaking afterbirth out of her, or when she called her husband a cum guzzler. She's like, you've been guzzling everything in the goddamn house. And then you said it, Bob. She goes, I command you to stay. She dropped the C word on him. And I'm not talking about the cunt. I'm talking about command. It was unbelievable. What a performance by her tonight.
We go back to Damon and Lena's family. Their daughter is heating up her egg because she's like, they all want you because of your dragons. Like, are they not going to want me? Because I don't have a dragon yet. And this is where she tells her, don't worry, not all of them hatch or whatever. She's concerned, says her father ignores her, Daemon ignores her or whatever. And she's like, he's doing his best. All right. And Lena tells Daemon she misses her brother. She's like, don't you ever miss your family? And he's like, I like to wine up there. That's what I miss. But no, not my family. Not at all. We're not anything alike, Miss Lena. And that was kind of their last scene before like the birthing scene. That was kind of like their last conversation together that we saw.
Bro, that scene. I mean, there's been some heavy scenes already. We had the C-section scene. There's been heavy birthing scenes. I didn't know what did any of you think that? I thought for a second that like first of all, I didn't think Vhagar was gonna do it.
Nope.
I thought Vhagar was gonna like somehow like help the baby be born or some shit.
Me too.
Also, which imagine that if a fucking dragon delivered a baby. I also because of Game of Thrones early seasons with the Dothraki, when Dany gets like burnt but she's okay, I thought that maybe something was going to happen there and like the baby was going to be born that way. Nope, just straight up barbecue. Like, I can't take this anymore. I don't want to have I'm not going to go out by some midwife like slicing me open.
Well, they did slice her open.
Well, they did. Yeah. Well,
she had blood. It looked like they sliced her open.
Well,
at least she had like a whole slash of blood across her stomach.
I saw the blood. I wasn't sure if that was like we tried to do like the C-section and it didn't work. But either way, her just being like, I'm a dragon rider and I'm going out like on my shield sort of thing was I mean, that scene of Vhagar being like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you? Because there's really no coming back from this one. You gotta really be sure if you want to Dracarys this. So that was some gut wrenching shit, but also a very, again, gangster meter through the roof.
No, I'm with you. I thought they were gonna find a baby in her ashes. That's 100% what I thought was happening.
I guess it's not 100%, right? Because I guess she is, but she's not Targaryen. She's Valyrian.
Valyrian who just married in. Yeah, the dragon's like, but that's what I don't get. I thought that is Nick popping in here because Dany,
Dany's magic's separate. Like that, her not being burned, that's not all Targaryens. The show kind of made it seem like that. She was the only one, but like that's just like something she says. She thinks it, I think, but like that's just very unique to her.
Okay, that makes more sense because I mean, but okay, pop back in for a second because like I thought that Targaryens ride dragons, but she's riding the biggest one in the world. All she did was marry into this shit, right? Or do Valyrians have dragons too?
The Valyrians have dragons. It's anybody from Old Valyria. Any of the blood from there can ride a dragon.
Because Laenor's got one too. He's had one since they did the little crab feeder battle.
I think Corlys, does he have one as well?
Yeah.
I think he does.
Yeah,
Steve Snake. What's happened to him? Is he dead? I don't even know.
No, he's around. He got mentioned in this episode.
He wasn't in it, was he? He's got mentioned.
Yeah. He just got mentioned, I think.
Kev, I heard that we're getting a Corlys spinoff potentially here.
Let's go. I told you.
I
picked right. I picked my guy.
Sea Snake, yeah.
I saw it on Twitter, so it must be true. But I don't know if the chat has heard this, but that would be fucking awesome. I don't know if he has a dragon, though, because I think he just does the ships and shit like that.
Whatever.
Right? But he's still awesome.
I'm telling you, the only thing I will say that this show did that I don't love right now is that it's kind of diminished dragons a little bit. Dragons used to, I thought, be like nuclear bombs, the end all be all. And it's kind of like you just have like this thing, and some people have them, some people don't. And you can still lose wars, and people can still beat you, and all that kind of shit.
It's like the Star Wars prequels. Some people said they did that to lightsabers. In the original trilogy, you saw maybe a lightsaber ignited once or twice a movie, and it was a special, oh my God thing. And then it was just like a CGI fest of lightsabers in every prequel. So it's almost similar in that way. People in the chat, the High Council are also saying that Laena's mother was Targaryen. So she was part Targaryen, part Valyrian, half and half. This is a good scene, though, that we're getting to here. Rhaenyra makes a good suggestion to the table. Rhaenyra, or Alicent, hates it. She rolls her eyes immediately as soon as the king is like, great idea. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then they talk about the Stepstones once again, the war at the Stepstones. They're like, didn't we deal with that 10 fucking years ago? Jesus Christ. There's one guy who I wrote, Abe Simpson, they got sitting at the table, who's not paying attention at all. And he just brings up the last topic that they were talking about. They're like, we're on to the Stepstones, Abe. Come on. Rhaenyra apologizes to Alicent, makes a big gesture where she says, I know that our families, there's been a bit of strife, but I apologize for any of that might have been on our end. I think that our firstborn should marry your daughter. We'll reunite the families. I think that's like his aunt and niece or something. And then, to be quite honest with you fellas, her nips start leaking. So it's a bit of an awkward ending to that. Yeah.
There's no other way to put that one, man. That's
no other way to put it. Leaking nips.
That's a modern day problem that it could be 2022 and you can be at your desk at your corporate job in front of your computer, or you can be in the realm. Your titties leak when you're pregnant. It's a problem that all chicks got to deal with.
It happens, and we respect women for that.
Also,
yeah.
but it is funny that it's like in this day and age, we're gonna be embarrassed by that. Like, we don't have showers. This place is fucking disgusting. I'll let my tits fucking leak. We got kids jerking off out of windows. It's embarrassing in the modern day to have your fucking shirt get all wet. Who gives a fuck?
I'm surprised she didn't look down. Like, oh, that's what you interrupted me for? Like, I don't care.
I got milk coming out of my nipples. What of it?
Whatever, dude.
She went piss dogs right away. She just peed her pants to prove a point. Like, I don't care. Look.
Start spraying people with those fucking things. Like, you guys got a fucking problem. I'm the goddamn princess, the heir of Dragonstone. My son is the heir to the Iron Throne.
The king loves the proposal. Alicent does not.
I love, again, the king's reaction. It reminds me, the king and Alicent remind me of Tobias and Lindsay, where like, he's like, this is joyous news, and she's just like, shut up, you idiot. Like, no. I love that line from Alicent. I think she said something like, oh, how kindly the fox talks when the hounds have you cornered. Whatever the exact line was like, money. And again, the king's like, she's being nice. He's like, no, you fucking moron. She's being desperate. So, but that exchange, there's a shot where they both are still standing and they're looking at each other from across the table, and she's proposing it, and she's kind of rolling her eyes. And it is just like, these two bad bitches need to get in rough and rowdy 10 down and just duke it out. Let's go.
They did a great job carrying over that tension from the young actresses. Like, it's exactly the same as it was last week, I felt at least. And then Lionel goes to the king to resign. The hand of the king goes to him to resign. He's like, my son has brought too much shame upon my family. And the king won't accept the resignation unless he like says it. He's like, say what the dark cloud is, or else I will not accept this. And he's like, I cannot. But Alicent's in the back, like, say it. She takes her camera out. She's like, please say it. Say it on camera. I'm recording right now.
He definitely hoped that ass whooping in the yard was like, that's the reason. That's why this is going on. We just got to get out of here. He's like, say what's actually going on. He's like, it was ass kicking.
That whole thing. That's the only reason why. Just a little schoolyard fucking scuffle over, some secret dad shit. And that's the whole reason everything's fucking blowing up, man. It's wild.
How about our girl Alicent, most reckless thing of the entire episode, when she says to the king, you can do that when I am cold in my grave. Bitch, this guy is immortal. He's just dropping fingers. I think he lost 2 more, and he was limping to start the episode with all the fucking hair he's lost. That you will be cold in your grave. Your sons will be cold in your grave, and that guy will still be breathing on the fucking
Also, not to mention, he's the king, and it's like, okay, I'll send you to your fucking grave, and I'll just, I'll ride with my daughter again. I mean, he's too much of a pussy for that. He's not that type of king, but she's certainly running her mouth. And that's also where I like, we can talk about Lord Larys here, because I think he is an awesome villain. The first taste of a Littlefinger for this series, him and his clubbed foot, little sideways foot. You knew he was shady last episode when he was talking about the abortion tea, and he was like, "Oh, I must be mistaken. Sorry. What do I know?" Like, playing it real coy. But when he's talking to her, it's like, this is like a chick who is on the verge of Breaking Bad, and he's like kind of pulling her over. But when she was like, "I need my dad right now," and he was like, "You can't think that your dad would be impartial," and she's like, "Yeah, but he would be partial to me." I love that line. I know he wouldn't be impartial, but he would be on my side, so I want him back, you fucking idiot. But that's where I thought we started to see, like, her true colors started to come out, where she's obviously out for herself. And then, I mean, Lord Larys, you talk about not since Stannis set Shireen on fire on that thing, whatever it's called. I mean, he just lit up his dad and his brother, right? Like, no fucking problem. Imagine someone being like, I did not ask for that, dude. You did that on your own.
You went off, yeah.
My father on fire. I never said to do that. But man, he took matters into his own hands on that.
That's a guy who just wants his dad and his brother dead. And he was just like, that was the reason. She said something to the effect of it, and I wanted, so we did it. It was on her. Chill out, dude.
She's like, oh, I'm in the mood for something for breakfast. I don't even know. He's like, how about I just kill my dad and my brother? It's like, what are you talking about? And then brunch, like breakfast, but not lunch. Brunch. I'm just on brunch. Just kill your dad and brother. You always say that, Lord Laris. I'm throwing it out right now, and I know it's done. Come on, and club. It's called Clubfoot. Everyone who's part of who rides for the Clubfoot, it's called Clubfoot. The fucking stock is rising for this guy. This is Littlefinger. You're getting Littlefinger at bargain basement prices right now. This guy is going to be the whole fucking show. Is going to be the House of the Dragons about a guy who doesn't even have a house in the neighborhood of the dragon. It's unbelievable.
True. I agree with that, actually.
It is crazy. We got a little taste of Littlefinger-esque action with Otto Hightower. But this feels like way more of a Littlefinger when he gathers up all of those criminals and he's like, hey, we can make a nice little exchange here for your freedom. And I'm like, is he forming the Suicide Squad right now? Like, what is happening in Game of Thrones right now? And he cuts their tongues out. He doesn't do it himself. He has someone do it. But they heat up this knife. It was actually almost oddly satisfying, how easily that thing sliced through.
You know what? I agree I'm with you on that too, Bob.
It's like Play-Doh.
Listen, there's some horrific ways that you can cut out a tongue, I would imagine. But if you just heat it up and it goes through like a knife through butter.
Ooh, it was nice.
A hot knife through butter, Kevin.
You guys got issues, man. That while I do completely understand what you're saying, the fact that you're saying it out loud is fucking crazy, man. That was one of those things. Like, I don't think we needed to even. I mean, it's Game of Thrones, so like show it all. Let's fucking go. But I think we got the point. I think we knew what they were doing. We didn't need to see it go all the way fucking through that fat tongue of yours. But I guess you guys out there were satisfied. So good on the fucking show.
It was nice. It's going to be on my Instagram Explore page tonight.
There must have been some weird shit that went down in that apartment when these guys were roommates, man. They must have like pimple popping. They must be going back to like E-Bombs World and Lively shit back in the day.
No, pimple popping is too far for me.
Too far.
I cannot.
Tongues off is not.
Oh,
that was satisfying.
It's fake, Kevin.
Satisfying. He called it satisfying, Kevin.
Guess what? One of them has pus. Pus.
Right.
P-U-S-S. Pus.
Oh, God damn.
Yeah.
Pimple popping is a bridge too far.
Can we all agree on this? I'd rather watch 1,000 guys get their tongues cut off than listen to the sounds of birth again.
Yeah. Like Kevin said, the squelching. It's disgusting.
I do think, though, I think Lord Laris is a little bit like teaching her a lesson, like not like actively teaching a lesson, but I think she learned like the hard way and the fast way. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks here in the realm. You can't be half in and half out. You can't be making a power play for the throne and putting people in their place unless you're gonna fucking like do it. Are you queen or are you not? And I feel like she, when she was like, I didn't say that, he was like, well, you didn't realize you said it, but you said it, and you're gonna like, in a few months, years, whatever, you're gonna know like this is how we gotta act. So, but that whoever that actor is, a very, very good job at being like that coy little like, did I set them on fire? Oh, whoops. Dr. Evil-esque, but actual evil instead of funny.
She's like Walter White after he gets the hit, sets the hit on the prison, and he just like sets the timer, and then it's done with, right? She's just like, oh shit, I just sentenced these guys to death. Where they gave him, if you notice this, they gave him the little speech as they're kind of doing the montage. That's some Littlefinger shit. That was Littlefinger's like signature move back in the day. So this is our new Littlefinger for sure.
Great scene.
Craziness. And Harwin says goodbye to Rhaenyra and the kids because he has to go back before he gets burnt. And Jacaerys, their son, straight up asks Rhaenyra, am I a bastard? So he's catching on to it a little bit. How could you not? He's maybe 8, 9 years old, but like his cousins are probably whispering shit, the Santa's not real shit and stuff. But about him, he's a bastard, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
Rhaenyra says, if you're a
Targaryen and you're not, there's something wrong here.
Rhaenyra just pats him on the head. She's like, you're a Targaryen. That's all that matters. It's very Obi-Wan Kenobi from a certain point of view,
Yeah.
kinda.
Well, that's my man needs to learn a quick lesson in spin zone. Like, don't worry about that. Just keep saying Targaryen. Just like
Yeah.
trust this shit. Just be like, whatever, Targaryen.
We have dragon, those bitches don't. Bottom
Yeah,
line.
God.
There you go.
Rhaenyra tells Rhaenyra they're leaving. She's like, we're getting disrespected here. We should have left a long fucking time ago. We're getting out of here. Pack your shit. They're off to Dragonstone. She says, the wise sailor flees the storm as it gathers. We know war is on the verge here. She doesn't want to be around the king, Alicent. She knows that shit's going on with the hand or whatever. She doesn't want to be around it. I respect that.
She's also right. She's like, once she's like, I've been undermined here. Once you kind of lose your status, it's like sometimes you got to trade a player because they, once they've had an embarrassing season or something's gone wrong, it's like you need to change of scenery. The queen, the princess needs to change of scenery.
The Strongs arrive back at their home. They get burnt alive. The people wearing the bee pin, that's going to be some sort of thing. The bees are kind of his new gang or whatever, the people with their tongues cut out. And we get that dramatic ending with the Laris voiceover. Love is a downfall, he says. Totally puts the murder on Alicent as we were talking. He's like, oh, yeah, you said it. So I trust that you'll reward me when the time is right. And that was the episode. Big dramatic ending. Alicent obviously probably going to bring her dad back into the mix. We saw Otto Hightower in the preview for next week. Someone's going to steal the big dragon Vhagar. The queen, Alicent, pulls a knife on somebody. And just seems like a lot of drama next week. Seems like an action-packed episode.
Clem, for all the Podfather people out there, you might want to run back that speech because Lord Laris kind of hits the nail on the head when he's like, what are kids except a real big pain in the ass? He's like, they're a folly and they're dangerous and you have them because you think that they're going to give you purpose and you think that they're going to carry on your name. And at the end of the day, they're just like a big money pit and a big fucking problem. And I mean, really, think about this. Think about this whole shebang is just about who's fucking who and who's popping what babies out. What color are they? What man are they from? What house are they from? Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Or which line are you in? It's just about kids. Really, just Game of Thrones is one big family planning, fucking fiasco. And if you just fucked off, like if Sir Criston and Rhaenyra just bounced and went to Essos and just fucked each other till they were dead, if Jaden Smith and his boyfriend Q, Carl, they fucked each other and had a blast. Everybody who has kids, their life stinks. And in the modern real world, it's like, wow, you cost a lot of fucking money and I can't have any fun anymore. And back in the medieval world, it meant like, well, now because you were a certain gender or from a certain man or whatever, now we're all in a life or death situation where we might be eradicated because of our fucking bloodline. Thanks a lot, kids. It's a nightmare. I can't believe anybody procreated back then.
That was a great speech.
That's my notes. What are children but a weakness? I was like, you have me sold. That's how I get into Clubfoot. I'm in there for life now after he said that.
It really is, though. I mean, it's a weakness where it's like you love them, but you got to treat them basically like a pawn, because it all is all just for like the throne.
I think at one point he said it's best to go through life unencumbered was part of what he. Boy, that's nice.
If that is not Big Daddy Trent.
That's nice.
What is the hardest thing that Trent goes through other than trying to handshake George Bush?
That's
you
it.
Son of a bitch. You know, we're going to get through this whole thing without talking about George W. Bush.
Trent, did you see the opening? You're in the opening. George W. Bush's hand.
I saw it.
That was.
He wouldn't give me his hand. All right. He thought he just wanted to take a picture with fucking Frankie Borelli, and he wouldn't let me shake his hand. I was like, "Let me shake your hand." He's like, "No."
You know what it reminded me of? I don't know if anybody said this in GoldenEye when you don't have a gun and you're doing the karate chop and you just see the hand come out. That was you. You're GoldenEye.
I said something similar. I said it looked like the view that I had, which is just like first person view. It looked like I was pressing B, trying to shake the president's hand. And it just. The 43rd president of the United States wouldn't give me his hand.
Slappers only. Trent lives slappers only life with George W. Bush.
It is nice that you got it at the end. If that video did not end with you getting it, we'd be living in a different world right now.
Oh,
I agree. I made it happen right at the end. But yeah.
You know, it was funny too. I texted Trent and I said, you know, it's kind of funny. Like, there was the time where people said that George Bush was like a war criminal. And now, like, he's just kind of this funny internet character and people don't care. And Trent wrote back, my mentions are saying otherwise.
Yeah. My mentions were like, my mentions were like, hey, better wash that blood off your hands. Like, all right. I'm at a golf tournament. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Fuck.
This is the most Trent's been encumbered his entire life, is mentions about a guy's hand he shook. Me and Kevin have gone through literal blood, sweat, and tears, shit, piss, whatever else you want to talk about with our goddamn kids.
Just Trent, just trying to shake somebody.
I said encumbered.
It was 50 Cent in the car, Tiger Woods, where you stationed, and George Bush. Trent's biggest concern in life is just awkward interactions with celebrities while we have to, like, keep these little humans alive. It's crazy.
I can't meet famous people. It's just like, it's hard for me to meet them because something goes wrong.
If Trent met King Viserys, he would definitely try to shake the hand that he doesn't have anymore.
Right. I'd do something, or I'd rip his other arm off, like, shit.
Pull it off like a mannequin at a Target.
Yeah. Oh. Whatever.
So Trent, you had the clip that, you know, went wild on Barstool platforms last time, where you were stunned at the 10-year jump. Now that we're here on the ball scale, tell us how you think they did jump wise. I know you were a little more confused.
Ball scale.
We do have to use the ball scale because he's the executive producer.
Is Glenn the producer of this show? I saw that off the rip.
Executive producer. Yeah.
Executive producer.
Yeah. No, I could tell. It's I think that I didn't like when I first came on here. This episode, I didn't like it, but talking through it with you guys, I like it a lot more. Like, I really do think that my brain is so stupid that it thinks like, let's just stay with these same characters on this same timeline.
I don't think it's stupid. I think that's a very fair take. You've been watching 5 straight weeks of something, and you liked it, and then it's over. I mean, now that was a series finale for those people and those, you know, those actors and stuff. I don't think that's that crazy to be like. I think anybody who, you can still like the show and also acknowledge that, like, you know, I still would have liked it to keep going on the course it was.
I just feel like I've seen more flaws early with this show than I ever saw with the original Game of Thrones. And maybe I wasn't looking. Like, I wasn't looking for the flaws in the first one because I was just like, holy shit, what is this? I just feel like some of this is off a little bit, but I'm still going to watch the show and I still really like it. It's just a little different.
That's interesting that you say that. People are comparing it to the first season of Game of Thrones a lot on Twitter right now, and I wasn't like really on the watch of, is this season better than season 1 of Game of Thrones until this week. Now we're 6 episodes in, we're more than halfway there, and I'm like, all right, now I'm on the watch. I'm not saying it is yet. Season's got to be over first. But
the thing, before you do that, go back. The other day I watched like 3 episodes in a row randomly of season 1. Early, like, Khaleesi trying to become Dany trying to become Khaleesi and shit. Those days, I think we forget how fucking fire Game of Thrones was. It was like really.
It was. I felt like it took like a season to heat up though. Like, as soon as Ned Stark died, I was like, okay, we're in.
You're right, but because there was so much to get to know, names and houses and the whole universe and shit. That's what a lot of season 1 was. But now, once you go, I've never really gone back. Once you go back and watch it and you have all the knowledge, it's really fucking well done. Watching like little Arya Stark again and like the way it all unfolded, like the bar is very, very high. I mean, it's only natural. I do it all the time when we're talking on the show, comparing characters and storylines. I don't think it necessarily needs to be done that way, though, to decide whether you like it or not means that it's as good as Game of Thrones or not. I think you can draw the comparisons, but
I agree.
I don't know about the whole season because, again, doing the time jump is kind of like, you can't really dig into too much if it's just like every other week we jump a decade. But this episode standalone, I thought was like one of the best out of either season. I
don't think we've had a single episode that I haven't been like thrilled to talk about with
we
you
haven't
guys
had
yet. Like after every episode, I'm like, holy shit, I can't wait to do a show about this.
There has not been a dud in my mind yet, and I was But if you listen to last season, the first season of Game of Stools, which is the last season of Game of Thrones, I was very quick to point out if episodes stink. I have not felt that yet, and certainly not going to start with this episode. This shit was fire.
It's funny you say that. I was just going to say in the post show, they're like, yeah, we had 2 characters die by fire tonight. And I go, holy shit, we did now that you say it like that. It's crazy. We just lost 2 kind of big characters just burned to death. Casually.
And Dave, don't forget about the GOAT. Rest in peace to the GOAT. Was the third one.
Right.
Where's the GOAT? Where's the GOAT? Shout out to Yeah, no.
All right.
That was great. That was, to me, like, best episode of the season so far. And like also now the ball is fucking rolling. Like now it's like it's all one storyline basically. It's all just like one throne kind of situation. But now it's like everything's popping off.
And I'm gonna get ahead of this now as the Team Damon guy on this podcast. Me and my boy Nicky Hammy over there. He was kind of soft this episode, but that's what always happens when the dude goes soft and he's kind of like happy in his own little world. And then it's like our boy Omar, right, Trent, when he was in he was in that other country and then shit goes wrong back at home. This guy's coming back with a fury. Team Damon, we're down now. Don't hold your heads low because we are coming back hot. I'm talking Dracarys hot next episode. I'm calling it now.
It's every Liam Neeson, Denzel Washington, motherfucking Don't Turn Me Into the Old Me movie. Like, Damon is going to come back and he's going to be a problem.
An absolute problem.
He's going to be all horned up around Rhaenyra. He's like, I don't have a wife again.
Oh shit! And he's like the wife killer at this point. He's 0 for 2 in like the last 2 episodes. Like Trent,
the Widowmaker. Let's call him the Widowmaker.
The Widowmaker.
Or wait, no. It's the opposite though, because he kills them.
He's the widower.
Doesn't work.
He's the widower maker. He's the bad luck Chuck.
The wife slayer. I call him the wife slayer. That's
the wife slayer. That works. That works. Yeah.
Because technically he put the baby in her that ended up killing her, right? So he literally is 2 for 2 right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I gotta ask this just because I don't want to be uncouth about it, but I can see the potential here. Can we use the kid jerking off for meme purposes on the
Yeah. Well, how old is the actor?
I'll have to look that up.
Well, no, he's got to be of age. You wouldn't show his butt if he was a kid, right?
Yeah, that's true. I feel
No,
like
he's got to be.
It was weird.
He kind of looked like Mike from Stranger Things, I thought.
Yes, blonde
Like if
Mike
you put Mike from Stranger Things in a Targaryen wig.
or a blonde Robbie Fox without his glasses on.
Bro, you do look like him. You do look like him. I mean, we still use it's different, but we use the gif of Tomlin jumping off the fucking out of the window. I guess it's different.
Rob, go to your window real quick and I want to see how much you guys there's.
Well, if you take a picture of your cheeks in front of your window, you'll be goated, dude. Forever. If Bobby Fox
go check Twitter. Go check Twitter. Somebody like Mario.
Oh, it's gift already.
Mario already like cut you out, put you in the window with you going like that.
Okay. Mario.
I texted it to you guys.
Shout out, Mario. That's amazing. I mean, this show truly produces some amazing clips, gifs, and photos for my family to hit me up midweek about and be like, "Oh, what are you guys doing at work now? This seems interesting and fun. You having fun?" Yeah, I'm having fun.
I have to ask, just because you brought it up, Trent, what was your parents' reaction to the whole W fucking fiasco?
I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard a word from him.
They're ashamed.
My parents have a strange relationship with my internet content. Sometimes they don't see it. They might not see it for 6 months. I'll get a text in January. They're like, "What happened with George W. Bush?" No, if they just probably haven't seen it yet, or they're ashamed and they just are never going to talk to me ever again. I don't know. It's a good question.
That's a coin flip. That's the Barstool difference, baby. It's like you never know if your parents have seen it or they're so ashamed of you they never want to speak to you again. We've all lived that life before.
So true.
You really did pull the fool me once, fool me twice. Remember he fucked up that clip.
So many people said that to me. It's so goddamn funny.
Yeah, that's an all-time clip. Still very funny to this day. All right, thank you to everyone.
Real quick, one thing that the High Council pointed out in the chat, the bees that they were wearing, apparently the guy that was like falling asleep at the small council meeting is like Lord Beesbury. So this is just Larys cutting those guys' tongues out, slapping bees on them, having them kill everyone, and being like the bee guy sent them.
That guy. I mean, that would be
the old guy.
That would be
Abe Simpson.
That would
Abe Simpson.
He's gonna pin it on the bees guy.
I think that was just his thing. He's like, all right, you got to wear these, go kill my family. So that way, if they get caught, it's like they're wearing the sigil of this guy and they can't talk.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it would be a little on the nose if you sent a whole team of tongueless assassins to burn people, and then they just wore your fucking symbol.
Yeah.
No, I think it's the perfect plan with this Abe Simpson guy. I think you bring him in, he goes Brendan Dassey in 2 seconds, and he's like, "Yeah, I did it. Of course I did it." You're like, "Wait a minute, really? Did you?"
Really? For sure?
Yeah.
WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I was thinking like Hank when Hank was like, I might have ordered the Pirates porn.
He's like, "I'm 99% sure it wasn't me." Like, what's that 1%?
That's the director of content here at Barstool now.
Yeah. All right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in this week. Thank you to Trent for joining us once again on Game of Stools. Make sure you like the video if you haven't already. Leave a comment. Do we have any ideas for comments, predictions for next week or something like that?
Who's gonna get set on fire? Because
Who steals a dragon? Who stole the big dragon?
It's a whodunit. Knives Out 3. Who stole the dragon?
Make sure you buy the Dracarys merch on store.barstoolsports.com. Clem's wearing the shirt there. No, I'm out.
Oh.
Promo code Trent. He's still in it.
Yeah.
Promo code Trent for 10% off all Dracarys merch.
Good
And
for
we
you,
will
Trent.
talk to you guys next week for another episode of Game of Stools. See you then.